Hello, I'm Dave Hunt, founder and wealth manager of Milestone Wealth. And today we're going to talk with a CPA, Bennie Hardy. And Bennie is co owner of a local firm called Page and Smith. And they also happen to have an office in Kinston and Morehead City. So we're going to talk to Bennie today about how this pandemic is affecting you, the business owner. So, first of all, Bennie, welcome.
Hello, Dave. How are you?
Doing wonderful. Thank you for your time and sharing your insights with us. Um, First of all, how are you and your family handling this pandemic?
Thank you for asking. We are doing great. We have experienced no health problems, and no one in our family or our business to date had experienced any health problems. So we're very thankful that we've been healthy.
So, tell us, you work primarily with business owners. I know there's a couple industries that you really kind of specialize in. Um, what percentage of your business owners are struggling at this point with the economic shutdown?
I'd say that all of our businesses are struggling to some degree just with the uncertainty of the economic times, if nothing else. But we do have many clients that are struggling, that are not open at all with zero revenue streams, with some where their volumes down 10, 20, and 30%. So I would say that all of our clients are struggling to some degree, and some much worse than others.
Yeah. You know, the Paycheck Protection Program has been a big talk for the last couple months. What percentage of your business owner clients applied for and received the loan through the PPP?
I would say at this point, almost all have applied. Certainly, all that has been affected have applied, and most have been funded or are in the final stages of being funded.
And how will the PPP loan benefit your business owner clients?
Well, it's going to benefit all of them to various degrees, but the ones that are not working and are not able to work or be able to be open, it will allow them to get their employees back in faster. It's allowed them to pay their employees while they could not come into work. So once they come back to work, it will allow them to pay them and continue paying them, even though their business revenue streams have been down. So it's been very beneficial to all my clients.
Are there any pitfalls to the PPP loans?
I think the only pitfalls is just the complexities of the law.
Hmm.
The law was written very quickly, and which things were done very quickly because of this pandemic. But I think the only pitfalls is the complexities of the law and the unknown parts of the law that the SBA and the Treasury Secretary is now just kind of backfilling rules and regulations that were a little bit unclear, and that's probably the biggest pitfall.
Now, a portion of these loans are going to be forgivable. Uh, what type of documentation is going to be required to prove that?
Well, I think what will be required at this point, it's only speculative because they don't have details. I think they will issue details, but I think good payroll records of the amount of your payroll over this 8 week period after the loan is issued, having detailed payroll records, detailed records of where you paid your any other employee benefits like health insurance or retirement match or those types of things, and some other costs that are included is rent and mortgage interest and utilities. So just having documentation for that and having good accounting records to back that up will be important. Although right now we don't have the specifics of what they're requiring. We're just kind of speculating at this point.
And as of right now, is June 30th a deadline?
Yeah, June 30th is kind of the deadline of when you get your employees back. That 8 week period starts from the time the loan is issued, and you have till June 30th, as we understand it, to get your employees back to the normal base before the pandemic. That could change just depending on how long things go and how long places are shut down. So we expect more clarifications from the Treasury Secretary and the SBA in the next few weeks.
Outside of the PPP loan, Bennie, what are some other steps or recommendations you're giving your business owners to help them get through this very difficult period?
Well, I talked to my clients for years about making sure that in times when times are good, you understand your numbers. We talk to our clients about understanding the financial metrics in your organization, the financial benchmarks that are important in your specific industry. So we encourage our clients to make sure they have good monthly and quarterly financial information that's available so they can make good business decisions. We try to encourage people that, once a year at tax compliance time is not enough. In order to make good business decisions, you need to have good information to be able to make that decision. So we try to assist our clients with developing systems that will allow them to be able to monitor the finances of their business.
So most of the work should have been done before a sequence of events like this happens, is what I'm hearing you say, correct?
Well, I have always said that. I've always said try to be prepared for a recession before the recession happens. And one of the important things in that is, being able to understand what the key points of your business are and where you make those decisions, because times at this pandemic happened like flipping a switch basically to the
Right.
economy. So you've got to be able to hit the ground running, making decisions that impact your business.
You mentioned to me a book you read many years ago that made a great impression on you. What was that?
Yeah, and I apologize to the author, but the name of the book was Recession Proof Your Business. And some of the guidelines in there are some of the things I talk about, that I just talked about, as well as, understanding your customer base, understanding, where you make the most income, and the type of clients you make your income, what it costs to deliver a product, what's your actual cost of overhead, fixed overhead and variable overhead. So, some of the principles of that was understanding your costs, but also understanding your customers and understanding your competition as well. So, again, I apologize to the author, but it was a great book, and that, along with 30 years experience, I've kind of gone back to some of those principles over the years.
Now, the stimulus bills that were passed over the last 6 to 8 weeks, there were some other tax law changes. What would you say is probably the most significant one or two changes that we saw from those bills?
Well, I think probably there were a lot of tax changes that affect businesses that are pretty down in the weeds, so to speak, but things that will affect an awful lot of people. For instance, is on the retirement plans and IRAs and 401ks and that type of thing. So if you're someone that's been affected by the COVID-19 crisis, there are some provisions in this bill that will allow you to take a distribution from your retirement plan without penalties. If you do take it out and not put it back, it will allow you to spread the income tax on those distributions over a 3-year period, and it also increases the loan amount from your retirement plans of up to $100,000. So that's something as far as I think that would affect a lot of people that are affected by COVID-19. If they've exhausted all of their other resources, it will allow them to access that money. In addition, required minimum distributions for 2020 are not required for retirees that are reach the age of 70 and a half. So if your portfolio is down, you don't have to sell those stocks at low prices
Right.
in order to get that cash.
Hey, Benny, you've been in business many years. Tell us what industries you specialize in.
Well, I probably, most significant industry that I've worked with the most is the construction trades, construction, real estate development, anything that's dealing with land and buildings. That's probably about 55% of my client base. Primarily focus on businesses and their owners, closely held businesses or owners. But I would say the most significant concentration is in the construction industry.
Yeah. And if someone, whether that industry or related industry, wants to maybe pick your brain, ask you some questions, what's the best way for them to contact you?
They can contact my office in Greenville at 252-317-0690 or at pageandsmith.com. And my email address is Bennie, Bennie, at pageandsmith.com.
Benny, I appreciate your time today. Wonderful information. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dave.